Days before he left the White House in 2017, President Barack Obama surprised Joe Biden with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, declaring his septuagenarian, white-haired lieutenant the best vice president America's ever had, a lion of American history. The tribute marked the presumed end of a long public life that put Biden in the orbit of the Oval Office for 45 years, yet, through a combination of family and personal tragedy, his own political missteps and sheer bad timing had never allowed him to sit behind a Resolute Desk himself. It turns out the pinnacle would not elude Biden after all. His moment just hadn't yet arrived. Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., 77, was elected Saturday as the 46th President of the United States, defeating President Donald Trump in an election that played out against the backdrop of a pandemic, its economic fallout, and a national reckoning on racism. He becomes the oldest president-elect and brings with him a history-making vice president-elect in Kamala Harris, the first black woman and person of South Asian descent to serve in the nation's second-highest office. There are no sure paths to a post held by only 44 men in more than 2 centuries, but Biden's is among the most unlikely, even for a man who had aspired to the job for more than 3 decades, twice running unsuccessfully and passing on a third bid to try to succeed Obama 4 years ago. The president-elect's allies, though, say it is that delayed, circuitous route that prepared him for 2020, when he could finally offer himself not just as another senator or governor with 10-point plans and outsized ambition. Instead, from launch on April 25, 2019, Biden sold himself as the experienced, empathetic elder statesman, particularly suited to defeat a dangerous and divisive president, and then restore the soul of the nation in Trump's wake. "A lot of people dismissed it," said Karen Finney, a top aide to nominee Hillary Clinton in 2016. "But when I saw his opening speech, talking about the fight for the soul of the country, I said, he gets it. That's what a president does. A president looks around the country and understands what's happening." Biden was the presumed frontrunner he hadn't been in 1987, when his first White House bid ended embarrassingly with a plagiarized speech, or in 2008, when he was trounced in the Iowa caucuses by Obama and others, or even in 2016, when the combination of his son Beau's death in 2015 and Obama's behind-the-scenes support for Clinton forced him to pass on the race. Yet Biden was a wobbly 2020 favorite. He was well regarded, even beloved as his party's Uncle Joe, a loyal deputy to Obama, but he faced a river of criticism as too old, too moderate, too white, too wistful, too senatorial. House Majority Whip Jim Clyburn, the highest-ranking black member of Congress and South Carolina's most influential Democrat, leaned on the same assessment when he made his seminal endorsement in February, days ahead of what would become Biden's first primary victory in 32 years of presidential campaigns. "We know Joe," Clyburn said with emotion. "But most importantly, Joe knows us. It's an open question whether the bond Biden formed first with black voters and then with moderate white Democrats would have expanded into a general election victory if the COVID-19 pandemic and Trump's repeated dismissal of its economic and health threats hadn't come to dominate 2020. And it's certain the president-elect now faces a different challenge as he seeks to turn his November coalition into a governing alliance. But it's not debatable that Biden's core pitch, rooted in his political and personal biography, was the same when he launched his campaign in the spring of 2019, as it was when he won the South Carolina primary in February 2020, and as he closed out his campaign against Trump. Obama, awarding that rare civilian honor to a man he said in 2017 was headed to life as a private citizen, had one thing right. He's nowhere close to finished.